Welcome to the Will Studios. I'm Will, and it's been a while since I've streamed, and I'm doing this kind of randomly. So Ethan Van Sciver has this idea. Yellow Flash just came out with his comic book about a Power Ranger in World War II, which sounds nice on the surface. I like Power Rangers personally. I'm an odd adult who enjoyed the Power Rangers. I find joy. I find joy in reliving my childhood. I think that's why I like shows like One Piece, and I still enjoy manga because it's made for kids. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? But I get a kick out of watching Super Sentai because I grew up on Power Rangers, but as an adult, watching Super Sentai is real fun. And you see how much better they had it in Japan. Like, you see how we were treated in America, where they made the Power Rangers like high schoolers who hung out and taught life lessons to the kids about just getting along and anti-bullying and stuff like that. And then you watch a Super Sentai and it's like, oh no, those same Power Rangers with the dinosaurs, they were actually frozen warriors from the five clans of humans who lived alongside the dinosaurs, and they had access to this power. And there was an immortal wizard who was on Earth, just in case the planet came back around. And because Rita wasn't on the moon, she was on this planet that was like, I guess it was getting close to Earth. Was it an asteroid? I don't feel like looking this up. But anyway, Rita is coming back, so he's this wizard guy, and he unfreezes the Power Rangers. They get their powers. The Green Ranger is like the brother of the Red Ranger, so they have their whole thing. It's just more compelling television. It's more compelling television, and they didn't think we could handle it. They did not have a lot of respect for the American children, which is a shame, because it was a cool show. But anyway, we're gonna take Naruto to Vietnam, which I thought was hilarious. And he has like a fat version of Naruto, like a fat, musclier, like Goku version. So it's like Yajirobe meets Naruto. But I'm sure we could do whatever we want with it, as long as it's funny. Like, the point is to be funny and to sort of mock, to lampoon manga. I think it could be a lot of fun. Like, if he sees my artwork and it's like, oh yeah, that's on, like, Dillard's level, sure, hire him, And it's a back end, so I'm not going to ask for, like, a cover rate or anything like that. I'll just do it. And I'll try to do it, like, quick. You know what I mean? I'll try to do it, like, real rough. So, he's jumping through the air, and he lands. And this will be an opportunity for me to work on, like, motion lines and just everything, And work on, like, really producing something. Not getting caught up in the trying to make everything perfect. Stop trying to be a perfectionist, I feel like taking on a project whose point is to be more like manga-esque, where it doesn't have to be as, like, super polished. I can have simpler designs for the faces, so they're more like dolls. And I can focus on putting motion in the action. I can work more on, like, composition. Because I obviously have a lot more respect for manga than EVS does. At least I think so. He's probably playing a little bit when he's like, when he talks poorly of manga, when he's like, it's like, I wouldn't know if I was getting into a hentai or not. Like, come on, man. You gotta be willing to risk a little bit of hentai, okay? Alright, so he's wearing like a loose kimono, right? And he's got like some sort of Goku hair going on. But this is nighttime. He's escaping because he just stole this scroll. And in Naruto, that scroll gave you the jutsu, the shadow clone jutsu. Very advanced. And Naruto had stolen that thing. You know what? I actually like that. I want to move. Oop. Do I want to change anything? I want to change the legs. I want to change this leg. Be a little bit lower. Like that. I'm just like positioning everything right now. So he's landed. Let's make the ground a little rough because it's like a clearing. Let's get some. Put some like rough textures in for now. Like, don't think about it too much. Let's just put some like generic trees here. Because what I want to do here is just try to like finish everything as much as I can, like quickly, and move on. And then I'll come in and clean up just like kind of where it needs to be. And I'll post this and tag Ethan and see if he notices. See if he's like, you know what? If you're willing to draw this like this, 40%, and we can like co-write it. Because that's the other thing, is I got so many ideas for this thing, and that's part of, you know. Like, I'll put out a quick, like, first issue, like, preview. And what if I have this, like, first issue preview done? If I'm just drawing it like this, you know what I mean? If I have it done in, like, 3 days. He's like, holy shit. But everyone's going off on Twitter and shit. I don't know. None of it really involves me, but I do think it's kind of funny, you know, watching people talk shit to one another. Yellow Flash has like 500,000 subscribers from, you know, mostly talking about you know, mainstream entertainment not really living up to the hype anymore, which is really what it comes down to. And the writers having no real ideas and just substituting like their own ideas about politics or whatever in for a story, to the point where there's like no story. Or trying to force like untalented people down our throats. I'll say it. I don't think Gal Gadot's all that. You know what I mean? She's pretty hot, but that's about it. And when I say hot, I mean like classically attractive. You know? Like if you were just looking at pictures, you'd put her in the top bracket, you know. But she doesn't really have any gravitas from what I've seen. Like, Wonder Woman was good because it was, like, unexpected. I don't think anyone expected it to be anything, and it was watchable. Nowadays, if something's watchable and not terrible, then it's like a freaking sleeper hit. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need more of this. We need more Wonder Woman, you guys. And then they did the sequel. And they started with that bank robbery. Which... Or no, it was in... Yeah, that's right. It was the bank robbery that leaked into like a mall. Or was Wonder Woman doing... Yeah... I can't fucking remember. I remember at one point she was in a mall catching bad guys. And I want to say those bad guys came from the thing. The bank that blew up. But at the same time, I feel like the mall came before the bank for some reason. Like there were other robbers at the mall that she had stopped. And then she was like, oh, I gotta get to the bank that's being robbed by these high-tech robbers. But yeah, then her freaking coworker. Honestly, I thought the what's her face did as best as she could with the cheetah. I wasn't disappointed necessarily in the cheetah. It was the dude, you know, Captain America, basically coming back to life in another dude's body. And then they made it clear later on that it was definitely like the dude's body. And she was banging Captain Kirk. In his body. In like a ghost, like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost sort of way. And Pedro, once again, Pedro was in Wonder Woman 2 as Ted Kord, and Ted Kord in the comic books, he could control people's minds, and for some reason, in the like he could influence people, right? Which made him that's like how he used it. But he kind of undersold his abilities, cuz then there was a storyline where he's like, "Oh, surprise, I've been secretly like subliminally taking over your minds." Right? And so he like had control over Superman, right? And then Wonder Woman had to fight Superman, and she like slit his throat with her tiara, which was freaking sweet. And Ted Kord turned out to be like a bad guy when before he was just like kind of one of those C-list heroes. He like would he was doing stuff with the Justice League International, I want to say. I didn't read too many comic books with him in it, to be honest. I read formerly known as the Justice League, which he was in, and that was coming out right before he turned heel, like in a big way with Identity Crisis. All right, so it's gonna land. Here, I'm going to use some of my sweet leaf brushes that I made here. Let's see. Clean that up a little bit because I don't need these random things out here. I don't like that. That looks good enough, honestly. Like, for the purposes of this, I think. For page 1. Page 2. Alright, so we got him. He's jumping through the air. We got plenty of space for words, right? He's gonna land. We can put a sound effect down here over the trees when it's time. And we can have a cool... Ooh. Now, the thing about manga, like, you know, you can make fun of it or whatever, but, like, their compositions have impact. You know what I mean? Like, I made a comment that, like, Narwhal's art was like Squidbillies. You know? But he gets the composition, and his art looks cool, which is the point, you know? So I don't want to, like, take anything away from him. But, in the same way, you might not like the eyes or this or, you know, that, which, you know, they're just made to be more expressive. And I don't draw in an anime style myself, but I'll try for this, which will just wind up just being like, okay, slightly bigger eyes so that we can convey in motion. You know what I mean? But I think that this let's switch back to this.
Could you just slightly grab the top of her nose and go?
Now, he wanted him to be fat, though, right? Like, hold on a second. Wonder if I can search for Nam Saying. I might have to ask Grok real quick. Or I'll just make him fat. I knew he was fat. I don't need to ask Grok any of this shit. So. Hold on a second. Okay, so he had just that on. I can give him a necklace here, like a pendant. He'll have like a sort of double chin thing going on, right? And we'll make that pendant important somehow later, right? I think he had like one of those symbols on it. All right. So We do want him to look somewhat strong here. I imagine he's going to be like OP against the Viet Cong, right? And that's if he's fighting for us. We don't know who he's fighting for in the comic book. When he goes back, is he fighting for the Americans or is he fighting for the Vietnamese? In our revisionist history Naruto here. I think it might be fun, call me crazy, if he starts off fighting for the Vietnamese and then comes back to fighting for Americans because he realizes that we're better than them. That our cause is just, He'll be like, alright, nobody followed me. But I kind of wanted a full body shot. Do I want a full body shot of him? And then that can be like the drawn by. I don't know. So I should give him short legs though. It should be more like that. Rid of that other kneecap. You don't have legs that long. He'll be like, alright. Nobody followed me. Alright, so he's got this scroll, right? And he's gonna be like, made it, or nobody followed, or looks like I gave him the slip. Do we need to see his legs? Because I could put that on another big panel up top, and then the shorter panel down below could be him. Here, let's try it like this. Because it doesn't have to be like a big panel. Like I gave him the slip, and then I could cut off his feet if I wanted to, but I could also like show that he's wearing boots or whatever. But I'll show that there are pursuers. Man, I forgot I was live streaming. So now these guys, I guess you can't see past that point. Weird. Let's give him something on his shit. Anywho, don't get too caught up in details. But these guys are going to be mostly like in shadow anyway, right? They're just supposed to be ominous pursuers. But I imagine people are like aware of Naruto enough to where it's like they know their instructors or whatever from ninja school. I'll make these guys, though, they'll be guards. Like, who the hell would rob the frickin' museum or whatever? Or the Forbidden Scrolls? But then he's gonna use it. It's a teleportation scroll, right? And they're just gonna take the scroll back. And he's just sort of missing. And then later on we can have more people from his world come in, you know? Like, there's so much potential, actually, now that I think about it. There's actually a ton of potential in a Naruto who... Like a fat Naruto who goes back to Vietnam. He'll be complaining about being hungry all the time. His head wasn't big enough. He looks kind of like Ryu here, you know? I just want to give the impression of toes and cloth at this moment. You know what I mean? Like, come back and... clean it up, you know? Is he gonna have black hair or blonde hair?
Let him finish your pancake and then you need to help me with the food. Get some syrup.
Looks like I gave him the slip. Alright, so page 1. He's running. He lands. Looks like I gave him the slip. And they're gonna be like, get that fucking fat, stupid fuck. Get him! He took the scroll! Tree behind him. Just doing like a scribbly shadows, you know? For now. Just to fill in the composition, you know? So we can move on to the next page. We can just come back and redo this shit better. Right? Looks like I gave him the slip. Catch that fat fuck. Catch him before he uses that stupid scroll and sends himself somewhere. He doesn't even know what it does. So then page 3. Should I pull up? Should I pull up Naruto to see exactly how he did it? How about... Ooh. So... let's make it like he threw it open. Right? was texting me during my drawing time. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, huh? Let's bite the finger, baby. Watching Comics Gate Kings. I never see any of this stuff live. They're showing off their Joker pictures. No, I'm just randomly sharing that. But yeah, I've been... While I draw, I like to watch that, you know, whatever. Comics Gate Kings. That's good enough. If anything, define his fingers a little bit more before I move on. I don't want his hand to be more than that, you know? I'll do a better job later on when I come around. Anyhow. So making his glove black here. Like a thick black core. Some like shine. But yeah, if I think about this for now, like narwhal, like I'm just framing it out, or if I'm thinking about it, just more loose, getting the vibe, getting the feel, you know what I mean? But obviously I'm not going to be able to do like what he does and get away with it, like I'd have to, like, if I could, people would just say I'm copying him. And that's something that I want to make sure I do. I want to make sure that my art style is mine. I'm never going to, like, try to copy somebody else. It's part of why it's taken so long for me to do things. Like, finding who I am. Should I have it be okay? He's putting his hands down here, right? But I'll have it be... So the lighting's gonna have to be... I want it to look like it's coming from, like, what's happening here, you know? I'm gonna have to... Alright, I'll come back to that too. Sticking up certain parts of it. That looks kind of cool. It's starting to look kind of cool. You know, the pose is right at the very least. I just gotta get the face going. You know. It's not too bad. Right? Like, it's starting to look better. So we got 1, 2, 3 pages. And he is teleporting himself now back to Vietnam. I think we should definitely have like of the dudes showing up. He looks stupid in that position. This guy's gonna be like, another one? We lost another kid. Dude, we lost another freaking kid. In the same clearing, probably. Dude. How do we keep losing these kids? And this one can have like a little... Oh, where am I? Or how should he land? How should he land in Vietnam? I'm gonna have dinner, and then I'm gonna come back, and we might find out together. Thanks for the 0 people tuning in. I'm leaving this stream as a record of my work for the internet, for anyone who wants to come and enjoy the dead silence of my creativity while I listen to other people talk. We'll be back